Welcome, everybody, to the Miami Hurricanes basketball 2023-2024 season review. And we're going to do both the women's and the men's. And I want to start off with the women's side because I think, in my opinion, they had more of an impressive season. And I want to talk a little bit just how incredibly screwed they got from the NCAA committee to even make it to the March Madness. It is justified that they got snubbed like that. They were snubbed. I think they were the biggest snub in NCAA. Sure, they didn't end the season right, but I have a few cases as to why they should have been in the March Madness. And every single projection said they're going to make it to the March Madness. And the committee said, nope, they're not going to March Madness. So I want to touch on that real quick. I know I said we should take things with a grain of salt, but boy, that committee either is uneducated or completely biased against Miami. Sure, that might be an old cliche stereotype that says, oh, they hate this, they hate them, they hate this, they hate that. So case number one, and this is where the review comes in. We start off with the best start in history, at least I think. They go on and win the Thanksgiving tournament to beat Colgate, and albeit it was a tough one. And then they beat ETSU to win the Thanksgiving tournament. So they won the trophy there, which is awesome. And this was followed by a huge win against Mississippi State, who was number 21 ranked at that time. Number 21 ranked. And for what I recall, years ago, Mississippi State was made it all the way to the finals and didn't win against Notre Dame. I think that was them. So, there's case number one, the best start. Oh, and it goes on. Because in the month of November, they started the season 6-0, right? They were 6-0 in the month of November. They beat Jacksonville convincingly. They beat Fordham, which was pretty rough. Southern, they barely got by, so sure. And then, like I just said, they won the Thanksgiving tournament. So that's 5-0. Then, an impressive win to beat Mississippi State, an SEC school, to be 6-0. And on the road, too. So that's 6-0. December, 8-0 against NJIT, which was no-brainer. And DePaul, which was a tough one to watch, but it was a good one. It wasn't until Baylor, the team that was number 10th ranked, when finally Miami was made to the top 25 ranked in the nation, and that will be the only time they'll ever make it to the topic of the top 25. They finally get their first loss against Baylor, and they rebound against Jackson State. Then they beat Alabama State, and then they had a rough game against Louisville, and then they just completely lose 77-72 on New Year's Eve. And then they lose to Boston College, which was bad. Then they beat Wake Forest, pretty easy win. And then, albeit, they ran into Virginia Tech, and we got absolutely dominated. And then we lose to Notre Dame, we got dominated. But then, here's case number two. All of that was rebounded against NC State, who was number 4. Number 4 in the nation. And we beat them 73-59. So there's case number two. Sure, we lost to North Carolina, but it was a tight game in North Carolina. And then we beat Duke, which was case number 3. Duke has always been a good basketball school. February, okay, I will say this. February was a rough one. February, we beat Wake Forest. Well, in this stage, anybody could beat Wake Forest. And then we lose to FSU, which stank. And then we beat Clemson in overtime. And then we beat Georgia Tech in Atlanta. And then I said right then and there, I said those are the big wins, especially on the road against Georgia Tech, where we have some momentum at home because we're a good team at home, right? Since I said that, we were 0-2 against that stretch against Syracuse, and Florida State. And Florida State was tough. Was a tough one. And then we lose to Virginia convincingly on the road after a blowout in the fourth. I mean, it was bad. And then we beat Clemson. Then we beat Pitt. And then 2 games in the month of March. It didn't end pretty well. Well, 3 games now. 1 game was a senior night, which it was a heartbreaker against Georgia Tech. A heartbreaker. And then here's case number 4. We had an extra win against ACC against North Carolina. And it was a comeback win against North Carolina. So, and then we went to the quarterfinals to play against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is a good team. But, unlike the other times where we got blown to splits, this was a closer game. We actually held our ground. And then with this one, we had a lead a couple of times. And we were up by 3 at some times. So it was a tight game. Now, did we win? No, but it was a nice run. But our run ended the quarterfinals. So there's a few cases as to why the Hurricanes women's side should have went to the March Madness, and the committee said no. But sometimes the teams that don't perform as good as Miami did, yeah, they're in the March Madness anyway. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Miami Hurricanes women's team got screwed. I'm pissed off about it. And it's a shame, too. This was a remarkable season for the women's Hurricanes team. A remarkable season. What a start, but not a good finish. But we still made it a little bit further to the ACC tournament than we did. And we beat North Carolina, too, in Greensboro. So that was good to watch there. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the men's side. And, yeah, we can make the case as to why the men's team didn't make it to the March Madness, especially towards the end. In the first side, it started off, like many others, it started off really well. We started as the number 13th ranked in the nation. Number 13th. Then we go on the run. We became 5-0, and then, I did a reaction video. We won a championship. We won the Bahamas championship against Kansas State, Kansas State went to the Big 12 finals, I think. And Nigel Pack performed like no other in that game. So we won the Bahamas championship in that day. This is after the Dolphins winning that game. I think it was the Raiders that the Dolphins beat, as far as I remember. Anyway, then we were ranked up to number 8, where we got blown out by Kentucky. So that was our first loss. And then it was followed by a win against Notre Dame. Then Long Island, which was no-brainer. And then we got our ass kicked in Brooklyn against Colorado Buffaloes, and I seen it firsthand. It was bad. It sucked. And then there was a rebound, and then we won a winning streak again. And then the ACC play happened. Yes. So, in the first game of the month of January, it was a good game because the Hurricanes actually beat number 16th ranked Clemson team. So the momentum is there, right? Wake Forest, a heartbreaker in overtime. So that was bad. And then we lose against Louisville. We lose to Louisville, who was the worst team in the ACC. At home, man, mind you. Who loses to Louisville at home? So that right there was case there to not put them in the March Madness. Man, I just don't get it. And that was the only time we played against Louisville, right? Yeah. As far as I remember. That loss was so bad. We should have won this game. But then you hit bricks after bricks after bricks after bricks. We rebounded against Virginia Tech, and then we got snubbed by Florida State. And then we lose to Syracuse in a heartbreaking fashion to give up the walk-off three-pointer at the end of the game. I did a walk of shame in the freezing cold temperature that day. It was 20 freaking degrees that day. That day sucked. But we did beat Notre Dame. Then we beat Pitt. Then the Heat got their ass kicked, but that's unrelated. Then we lose to NC State. Then the month of February, this is where things turn for the worse. And I mean absolute worse. So we win against Virginia Tech, 82-74 in February 3rd, right? February 3rd, 2024. That was the last time the Hurricanes won the game, period. Because since then, they won a 9 straight losing streak all the way up to the ACC tournament. They lose to North Carolina, and albeit it was a close one. And then they got their ass kicked by not Miami, because we were Miami, Clemson. Then you just throw bricks against Boston College. Then we lose to Duke badly. There was no coming back against Duke. And then you lose to Georgia Tech. And then you had a better luck against North Carolina, still didn't win. And then after a 10-day break, you still lose to Boston College at home. Yes, I was there for it. And then you end the season off with the loss against Florida State. And then you go against Boston College in ACC first round on Tuesday the 12th. And you just had no shot. You literally just had no shot. And then that was their 10th straight loss, and that ends the season. So that's pretty much it for that one. The Hurricanes were never in the discussion to go to the March Madness. So after an amazing March Madness run last season to go all the way to the Final Four, in this case, we just had no chance of going to the March Madness. So we had to watch everyone else at home on our couches, which sucks. So we'll see what happens next season, as Bessie Joseph, I heard, is going to the transfer portal. And what happens with Norchad Omier and Nigel Pack? Are they likely to come back? No, most likely not. I think they're going to end up going to the NBA draft, declare themselves to go to the NBA draft. If that's the case, then I would root for them to go to the NBA, especially that they deserve it. They absolutely deserve it. But either way, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Sucks that the ending has to be like this. If you have enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe for content, because Miami Tuesday gets it back. And when he does, hit me right there with the favorite entertainment you deserve. As always, go Canes, and I'll see you guys next time. I'll see you guys tomorrow for a Heat video. Good night, everybody.